I once worked so hard every day for a month, I didn't even have 15 minutes of free time because I was always working on my goals. I'd wake up for my channel, I'd go to school, and I was getting really good grades. My channel was starting to grow. I was growing my Discord server. I would train regularly. I was getting into good shape. The only thing that wasn't there was the social skills and girls, which is a part of social skills. I desired to be social so badly that at the end of that I had a holiday, and it was at the end of that month of working hard. And that holiday, I wasn't gonna go out until the last weekend. I wasn't gonna do anything until the last weekend. I was not drinking at this time. And I remember, because I came back to Hong Kong, which is where I live now. I used to live in Australia, and I was on a holiday here. I went to one party, and I don't know if I can say the details of this story actually, but the whole point is something happened, and I didn't want to drink. It's just I kind of got pressured into it. And so at this time, I'm still in school, and I'm like, okay, fuck it. So I just ended up having a fun time on Friday night, a fun time on Saturday night, and then there was this awesome night awesome boat thing that happened on Sunday. And I had the best fucking 3 days ever because I'd earned it, bro. I'd worked my ass off for a month, and it felt like I was finally being valued and being in the social circle and having a good time. And the drinks were very fun because I didn't drink for such a long time. I don't know. I think the female attention was very nice. The respect from people and being part of a group was so amazing. And I went back to Australia after that holiday, and I craved that so badly that I ended up stopping working as hard as I did by a lot. My grades got worse. My everything got worse, bro. My grades got worse. I stopped uploading regularly, which was the worst part. And I went grades. Oh, and my physique, I didn't really keep progressing. I was actually kind of stronger on some exercises back then, even though I was at a lighter weight, just because I was on a strict diet as well, and I was just training so hard. I was so healthy. And I desired to be social so badly, to be popular, that it completely sidetracked my entire life. And so in this video, I'm going to speak about how you can get to the point where social skills, your social life is awesome, and it won't distract you. In fact, it's the thing that encourages you to work harder or to have a better life. Even if you don't give a shit about working hard, I mean, it's still pretty good to have a great social life. Because, I'm gonna teach you in this video. When I say social life, I mean you have a good group of lads that you trust with your heart, like brotherhood. You've got girlfriend, you've got. Yeah, I mean, that you just don't need to put any effort anymore to live an amazing social life. It's fun to go hang out with your friends. It's what you're excited for. And you can get to that point. But one last point is, I was speaking to my friend, and he said when he dropped out of university, I was speaking to him lately. If he watches this video, he'll know I'm talking about him. And he said, one of the he got into a really depressed state because he just wasn't seeing his friends. And this is what made me realize something, bro. Isolation is probably the worst thing for your mental health. The only reason that I was mentally happy is because I had one good friend at this time when I was locked in. I'm mentally happy at the time I was locked in when I was working hard. The only reason it was okay and I didn't genuinely just hate myself was because I already had a super close friend. I was lucky that I'd known my whole life who moved to my school. And so that really got me through a lot of hard stuff. But if I didn't have that, I genuinely would have suffered so much and gotten so much less done. I did the year where he wasn't in my life was so miserable at that school. I have a Discord server where you can ask me any questions. I have many videos on YouTube where I talk about social skills. Subscribe, like this video, comment any questions. But I think the best value you can get is joining my Discord and having a chat with me. The one thing I will say though is if you're really horrid with conversations, which you probably won't know if you are, but if you feel like you've been trying to talk to people and it's getting you nowhere, then I fully recommend you go to my Discord server and you look at the full written social skills guide that you can get completely for free. Because sometimes you're trying hard, but you have a lack of common knowledge, or you watch the videos, also the other videos I have, which I have some slideshows where it's how to have better conversations or how to meet friends. There's a full 50-minute videos that I've made with each little step. But sometimes you can be trying and you might not get any progress if you don't have common knowledge. But I don't think everybody's going to be in that boat. So I'm going to get straight into the strategies that I would use that aren't completely beginner. It's like if you have like okay social skills, or so I think that everyone can like mainly improve their social skills with like a few key lessons, which I talk about in my other videos in my written guide, and just putting in effort over and over, and it won't even take that long. But the more you know, the less time it will take. So this was, I know how I just said I got back to Hong Kong for a holiday. Literally a full year before this. Okay, this was a different time. This is like probably the worst bullying I was ever getting in my entire life. And nobody at school liked me. I've had fuck all friends. I was like the nerd. I was getting good grades, and I was been going to the gym. I was still in bad shape, but it was just working hard. And I got back to Hong Kong for a holiday. I know, similar vibe. But this was at the point where my social life in Hong Kong, it was okay, but it was nowhere near as good. And see, the thing is, for 2 weeks, I genuinely struggled to talk to people. Like, it was actually, I remember the first day I got back and my neighbor came and knocked on my door. She's like, how are you? I literally couldn't hold a conversation, and I panicked. A conversation went silent, and I felt shit about myself. So what I did was I embraced that it's going to be difficult for a while. And I was like, okay, whatever, bro. It doesn't matter. And I planned as many things with as many friends as possible. I reached out. I really made an effort. And there was one friend who I was very close to from childhood who we started to hang out more than we normally would. So we would like go to the gym. We would go to the beach. And I would just keep inviting him to do things. And then there was this other guy who was like a big party guy. And he would be out every Saturday, every Wednesday. Or I don't remember. Oh, it wasn't every Wednesday at this time. Every Saturday. And there would be like this big gathering of a lot of like people my age, about 16, and it would be like hundreds of people. And so the first week I was hanging out with my friends, and then we went to like the big gathering with this guy. And it really helped being around a social person, because when he would speak to people, then I'd have to speak to people. When it goes awkward for me, at least he's there. And it was good because he had a lot of social status. So when we went out, we were getting recognized. You're like, yo, I don't want to say his name. Yo, I heard about you. And then they come up to me and like, some people had heard about me, but that's not because like, that, just ignore that detail. That's just a Hong Kong thing. Everybody knows everybody, or like your name travels very quickly. So for a week, I literally just kept doing it over and over. I kept talking to people. Bro, I'm sorry. I'm really stressed about something in my personal life. I'm going to keep going with this video. After like every day of talking to people and being more social, oh yeah, I kept going to these plans. I kept going to the beach. I kept going to the gym. And I could notice I was starting to speak a little bit better, but I was still really shit. It still felt like I made fuck all progress in talking to people. And then the weekend landed, and I went up to a few girls, got brutally rejected, and it was super hard to talk to everybody. It was, especially like guys, it was starting to get a lot easier. Girls was still impossible to talk to. Guys was still difficult to talk to, apart from my friends that I'm already getting closer with since I've been back. The boys I'm spending time with. And a whole week goes of me doing the same thing, and it feels like I don't improve at all. Until one moment where I'm talking to this girl, and I end up like she ends up giving me a kiss, and it was literally like that all of a sudden I felt confident I could speak. It was like that. I just finally felt free. But it wasn't kissing a girl, bro. That's so stupid. Like, I've known so many people who have kissed a girl and still been awkward as shit, okay? It's the 2 weeks where I was constantly trying to be social. And then in that conversation, I started from developing my social skills, from talking, getting so much more comfortable being in conversations. It went so much better than it would have if it was my first conversation. And then I got a little lucky that she liked me as well, and she knew me, like, because we went, I don't want to say any details, but she'd basically known who I was for like a while. And so, when that happened, it felt like a switch clicked, and it was like all the effort that I put into 2 weeks all came, and I like once I got that little confidence boost, I felt so good, and I could finally like talk to people and like be social. And that's what I call the 2 week strategy. You genuinely spend 2 weeks trying to be as social as possible, do as many things with other people as possible. And I know like, okay, I'm gonna get back to this and how to do this in a way where you're going to end up being more productive later. But if you're saying, oh, I'm locked in right now, I can't do that, or I'm studying for school, okay, maybe wait till the next holiday if it's really important in your life. But I really recommend this because Okay, wait, I'm gonna explain the way that you do this specifically so that you actually end up being more productive at the end. But remember at the start of the video when I said I got distracted from being productive because I didn't have friends? That's why I think this is so important. Because if you actually put effort into this, you don't have to put effort into it later. And that's when you can easily start working and you have friends who encourage you to train. You have like you're having a shit day at like work or at school and you're like, bro, I just had a shit day, and you call them and if things feel so much better. Like I haven't had to do that in a while, but I did recently about something and I felt like 1,000 times better after the conversation. I still felt shit, shit things are shit things. But like I felt like I wasn't there alone, bro. Like it's like I could get through it and that like I got some good advice and shit. So the thing that I will tell you is I was starting to go to the boxing gym and I would just say hi to everybody. Hey, how are you, bro? And I would try and have as much conversation as possible. It doesn't need to be a lot. And for the first week, to be honest, I was dead silent. Like, I know that, look, you've just heard me talk for 12 minutes. And this was only recently when I was still very social. This was like half a year ago. I think it would be easier now, but I was just very scared because I'm quite unathletic naturally. So it was very scary to get into this at the start. And so what I realized is that the more I showed up, the easier it would get because the people have seen me over and over, and then it's easier to have a conversation. I would have one conversation at a time, and it would get easier and easier. And then, I started here and there, I'd say, oh, I have a YouTube channel. Or if you have something cool going on in your life, even if it's not cool and it's just like something you do, if you speak about it, you're going to find that people are passionate about it. So if you really like chess, you're like, oh yeah. If you're in a conversation, you'd be like, yo, what'd you do this weekend? And then they'll say, oh, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I was playing chess. I think that's a side point, quick little side point. I'm not going to explain this concept too much, but if you're doing something in your life, especially if it's fun, like even if it's like a unique hobby, because there's no such thing as a weird hobby, bro, unless it's like some weird like gooning thing or like that's weird. But like there's not really anything that's weird apart from like really just straight up degenerate shit like drugs. I mean, honestly, if you do drugs, bro, and you talk to somebody about doing drugs, you probably make a friend, but like that's not the kind of friend you really want, in my opinion, usually. And so like, I'm not like the fucking police or anything, but I don't think it's good to have too many friends who do drugs. I think it influences you. Your friends influence you, which is why I'm saying, you go make good friends at I went to a boxing gym. You could do this wherever, a productive place, a regular gym. But I like the athletic community because that's people who are healthy, trying to be better. And then basically after a while, you just invite somebody to do something with you. But the way that you incorporate this into the 2-week strategy is you find somebody to hang out with and you talk about how you really want to go to be more social. Literally, you just fully talk about what you're actually interested in life. Be like, to be honest, bro, I kind of want to meet a girl. There's nothing wrong with it. If you speak to a guy and you're speaking and you've been hanging out for a while, if they're not zero maturity humans and you're like, yo, bro, I look, you want to be more social and meet some girls and I really want to be a social guy and be well known and respected, do you really think they're going to make fun of you? I mean, maybe you think that, but that's stupid. If anyone ever said that, it just doesn't make any sense. Who doesn't want to be popular? You know what I mean? There's such a bad connotation about being popular. Just be popular with good people, or at least just have a few good friends, even if you don't want to be popular. But anyways, what you do is now you hang out with this guy. If you click well, then you say, honestly, I wouldn't jump too fast into all this. See if you like a guy and then just say, yo, I'm going to go, it's summer holiday coming up. Let's use that as an example. Let's go out every day. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the gym. Let's run a side quest all the time. Then that's how you can incorporate this in the 2-week strategy. Because if you do it with a close friend, you get so much closer with them. And it's so much easier if you can find somebody who's also down to just go out and do stuff. And then, you just go to parties. You go to in Australia, there's a place under 18 events. So even if you're not 18, you can go to be a social teenager and meet friends at these new places. Although it's probably much more degenerate, it's that's why you brought the healthy friend, the friend you want to get closer with, and then you work on being more social and you meet a few people who aren't too degenerate out at these parties and your social skills get so much better. And then that guy and you are doing so much that you invite so many other people to join you. And it just flows really well once you have one good friend who's always down to do shit. I spoke about this in my last video. If you want to go on my channel and just go to the video I uploaded yesterday, which was called One Close Friend is 1,000 times better than average friends and how to make a real close friend with my 3-step method, or some title similar to that. and I really recommend you do that. If you think that you don't have like the basic knowledge, it's just too hard to talk to people, you're scared of where to start, ask me any question on Discord, read the full guide on my Discord, subscribe for more videos, like this video if you thought it was good advice, and comment any questions or feedback or whatever. Have a good day, bro. Love.